Me and Jake running down the street with a handful of comic books, kicking ass and banging chicks and drinking booze
No, not
and
me.
smoking
Not
weed.
me. I'm married.
Yeah, well,
I'm married.
Jake.
Can't do that.
Yeah. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.
Yeah, I just wanted to capture this, everybody. Welcome to episode 196, off panel, off topic.
Off panel.
27 seconds, buddy.
Oh, gosh.
Whoa, that was close. We're past 30, though.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Jake, and Tyler was kind of telling me about his upbringing back in the day.
No, I was actually making a joke like you.
No, you were telling me about your life story.
Yeah. But you bought your child a bike.
So my son is like I was mentioning, he likes two underrated Queen hits.
Just talk about the one.
And there's one that pertains to this because we got him a bicycle, and he was singing the song Bicycle Race. And he's like, Dad, I'm playing Bicycle Race. Like, it's bicycle. It was never bike. And I was like, I never said bicycle as a kid.
Right. Now, and we were talking because I'm about 20 years older than you, so different generation. And I don't know when the term bike came around. Like, I was making a joke, like maybe it was new around in the 70s. And I came home one day and was like, hey, I just came home. I rode my bike home from school. Like, what did you say? Bike? It's bicycle. We don't use that language in here. Slang. Bike? Get out. You know?
Like a very oppressive household. You grew up where they did.
No, I was making a joke.
Where you filmed? Where you live where Footloose is filmed?
I grew up in the Footloose town.
Sure.
Yeah. Hang on a second now. Wait, is it you want to dance too? Get out. Why don't you get on your bike and dance?
Before we get in the meat,
you hooligan.
You fuck. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode.
What are the meat and potatoes?
So last weekend, I was working on a super secret project that I can't talk about because it hasn't come out yet. But afterwards, we were just hanging out, and my friend was like, hey, have you heard of this? And it shows us a clip from a Bollywood movie. It's called RRR. And it's a sequence where this dude rescues this guy, he's in this like cage that's like in the ground, and he rips open the cage door, and my friend is like, by the way, there's no mention or knowledge or ability of superpowers before this, so he just ripped this cage open with the power of friendship, and that's just kind of like what Bollywood movies are like. Grabs this guy's legs are battered, like he can't walk. So this guy the guy that rescued him grabs him, puts him on his shoulders, and he gives him two guns, and it proceeds to be one of the most insane action sequences I've ever seen. And I got to tell you, I'm in. I want to watch more Bollywood movies. Have you watched a Bollywood movie?
No.
There was some weird shit in them. Like, there was one clip that I saw that it was this hardcore action movie. It was like Sylvester Stallone and like Schwarzenegger at the height of their powers. It would be like that kind of movie in this Bollywood action movie. But in the middle of the movie, without any explanation, there's a full-on like music video with like colors and like the stereotypical like Hindi kind of music video you'd expect. And it's just in this movie for no reason.
Huh.
And then it just like, but how they tie it back to the plot of the movie is just like some dude gets a text and just goes, "Oh yeah, the mission started. We got to get back to the mission." But these guys were like competitive guys, like in each other's face, like fighting dudes, hardcore action stars. But they're like, "Let's have a music video."
Fighting dudes hard.
Yeah. It's just two dudes just slapping meat.
I didn't want to. I sounded dismissive. I didn't want to be like that. I have never attempted to watch Bollywood, but
they're long movies.
A, there's a lot, and B, I already have like a lot of like English language stuff to watch.
Hey.
I do.
Yeah.
I have no problem with subtitles. I have subtitles on all the time.
RRR, I think. There's a version in English and in Hindi.
In my Hulu account,
on
I
Netflix.
have, I can't remember what it's called, but I have a trilogy of Bollywood movies about Shiva, I think.
I'm ready to go down that rabbit hole is what I'm saying. I'm hooked.
It looked really neat, but I never actually started it. It's in my queue stuff.
Anyway, We got a full diaper episode today.
Full diaper of an episode. You're gonna feel like you're gonna explode.
Out your butt. All right. So
out of your butthole.
Oh. Wow. Last week we said we needed a fart thing, and I never got one. So
I know. We needed a fart.
Let's talk about Daredevil, Born Again, episode 7. And 7.
7-Eleven. 7-Eleven.
So I think you and I
7 even back dough, little Joe.
So we thought
Thank you, Ice Cube.
We thought that Muse is dead, but because I think at least I did. Or I was like, oh, okay, so
you thought he was dead last episode?
I thought it was going to be a little bit more ambiguous. I didn't expect them to like close this loop in this episode.
Well,
so I'm actually surprised. Well, no, time out. I don't necessarily think like they're fully done with him, but I just think like this part of it because
the MCU has a history of being shitty with their villains. Hey, let's kill them all.
That's why I thought he was dead. So that I'm surprised they kind of closed off his arc for this season. I still think that they're going to bring him back somehow in season 2. But no, they time out. They killed him in this episode. So they did cut that off. So I am glad that I am surprised. I thought they were going to wait and dangle that out until next season. I thought the last time that we see him, okay, he's alive, but we're not going to see him at all.
No, I think we're going bullseye after this and punish
him.
him.
Yeah, we're wrapping. We're doing the task force shit to end the season.
We have 2 episodes left. What a fucking visceral fucking episode. Jesus Christ.
I totally forgot he gets shot at the end.
I was scared shitless for her the whole time. I cheered when she fucking shot him because good for her. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
You want to be a fucking douchebag, that's fine. Get out of my face.
I do appreciate that this episode kind of just deals with the fact that, like, okay, so someone that is in a serious relationship with Matt would easily figure out he's fucking Daredevil. Because how the fuck would Daredevil know to save her in that moment? So she already knew that, and then he says her name. So she's like, and that reveal is great. But her performance this whole episode is fantastic. I like that we spent more time with her and kind of dealt with their relationship. Like, it was really interesting to have that moment of like true, honest adult relationship being portrayed in this, of like where he's trying to be like, I just feel like I'm still going through the motions and this is fake. I don't want to feel this way. And then when he says I'm fighting it, and she says, you're not fighting it, it's a process.
I think it's still possible for them to turn her into Typhoid Mary. I think, yeah, one of the aspects of Typhoid Mary's character is her traumatization. I don't know, but she was traumatized like at an early age. I think I can't remember exactly like her exact biography, but when I just glanced at it, apparently she marries Fisk at some point. But I just have to say, like, what a visceral episode, and what a fantastic... I am loving every time D'Onofrio does his whole, like, smile, his whole... Like, when he's eating, and the guy just shoots Luca down.
That was great.
And he's just like...
just fucking
like, just
chowing.
Enjoying the fuck out of that steak, right?
Thank you, Buck.
Thank you, Buck. Like, he's so proud. Like, he's becoming more and more, like, as much control as he thinks he has. You can almost see that he's wanting to be more reckless. And now that he knows that Daredevil's back, he's feeling it. Excuse me. He's feeling it, dude.
Well, and then there's that conversation that Buck has with him where he's like, you brought me in because you needed someone to think symmetrically. And he's like, you need to let this Daredevil thing go. It's fucking small potatoes. And he's like... He almost brought down my empire. Like, I fucking hate this guy. I want to kill him. I didn't kill him last time because my wife wouldn't let me, and blah 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 blah. And it was just a great moment too, where Buck was like, he's still in Kingpin. He's still beside Fisk. He's still with him, and especially at the end. But it's just like you kind of see a little bit of him being like, dude, let it go. Like, he ain't worth it. Especially because every time Daredevil got a win, he's still lost because White Tiger got fucking murked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I can't wait for these next 2 episodes. But this episode was again to have the sequences they did and shows you again where this show can have really great action sequences, but it also has really, really great character moments and just pure.
I really
like her performance.
Like the
Heather's
exposition
scene,
of.
like, ugh.
I really like the exposition of like him, feeling her face like blind people do, to read people's faces or to tell what they look like. And then, like, when he was looking through the paintings, I liked that kind of exposition a little bit of like, hey, this is how a blind guy figures out that all these paintings are of his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Is that he just... Like, that was kind of neat. And, yeah, you know what? I'll suspend my disbelief. Fuck you.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, it's a fucking superhero show.
Well, also, I mean, let's be honest, dude. A guy who paints graffiti is a terrible fucking villain for a blind superhero. I'm sorry. Maybe a villain who does statues that he can feel. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I guess I never thought about it that way.
Look, we know that Daredevil's
what does it look like?
Daredevil's heightened senses are good enough that he can read actual words on a printed page with his fingertips. Yeah. We know this because it's been documented in the comics. Or what the fuck are we talking about?
It's
documented in the comics. What the fuck are you talking about, man?
Well, actually, you can say issue number 65.
Graffiti is on the wall, and you can't see it unless you're... How do you even know there's paint on the brick? Shut the fuck up.
I love his backstory being told by the
Whose backstory?
news.
Whatever.
His backstory being told by the cop while he's like making the painting of his blood.
I like Angie Kim.
In the
I like her a
picture.
lot.
Also, that's a lot of blood from your nose. Just saying.
I like her a lot. Yeah. By the way, anybody who's tried to paint with anything like not that.
No, fuck off. I don't care. It's a show. Don't get technical, but it is a lot of blood. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to piss on what you're saying.
Fuck you.
All right.
All right.
But his suit, can I just say the little tweaks that they made to it? I think that suit looks great.
I like the eye holes.
Well, and then like the little bit of
the
black
glass,
undertones.
The red glass in his eyes or plastic, whatever.
I like that
because he doesn't need eye holes.
I thought it was a pretty good fight scene. I think I kind of preferred the one from the last episode because I don't know, it felt more raw. And I kind of like that one a little bit more. This was still a really cool scene. And then, like you said, like when she shoots him, I was like, oh, fuck. Like, it was like, good for her, but holy shit.
But then,
And then when she falls over and there's blood, it's like,
I thought
damn.
she died.
I did too. I thought she died. Because everybody that Matt loves died, so I just thought, oh, she's fucking dead. But I'm glad she didn't because I really like Heather.
I
actually think she's good for Matt.
Yeah. But, I mean, at some point, she's either going to make him tell her. Or she's going to get hurt. Already she's gotten hurt because
she knows it's him.
Well, yeah, but she didn't get hurt because of Daredevil. She got hurt because that guy was psycho.
No.
And stalked her.
But she's upset that he never told her.
Well, yeah,
sure.
I would be.
Of course she would be. And it was great because twice in that scene he exposes himself. And I think that's something that's been another problem with Matt in the comics too, right? Like, he falls in love with women and he can't help himself but save them or get involved some way and has to reveal to them that, yeah, I am Daredevil. And
can we just admit that Daredevil's kind of a dumb character? No, I'm just kidding.
Matt is kind of a shit, and he always kind of has been.
He is kind
and
of
that's
a
kind
dick.
of also why I love him. But that whole sequence of like when he sees her in the hospital and she says, I killed him, and she's upset about it, and she's confessing this to him. And he's like, you did what you had to do. And she's like, how do you know? He's like, I just know you, and I know. And it's like, so then she was already on to him there, and then she goes, he said my name. And then it's like, yeah.
Daredevil did.
Yeah, Daredevil said my name. And, of course, she never gave it to him.
Yeah, but it's in her office, so he could pass that off.
How? He felt it after she passed out?
Does everybody
like
know that he
ran his fingers on the...
Well,
I guess I don't know.
Does everybody know that he's blind?
Daredevil? I don't know.
There you go.
I don't know.
I'm assuming he has those plastic lenses and stuff to make it look like. I mean, right? I don't know. I can't remember in the comics. I know among the superhero community, it's common knowledge.
Yeah.
And probably supervillains, but common knowledge amongst like civilians, I don't know.
Yeah, I
really liked it. I'm excited for the next couple episodes too.
I just think back to a couple weeks ago where you had some concerns, and I was like, I'm just like, I think, and you kind of explained yourself about it last week, but I think even more, I felt so much more confident in these last few episodes, just how really good these last 3 episodes have been really, really good.
You were saying something to me about how I like, and I enjoy moments, like the opening to Inglourious Bastards is one of the greatest fucking scenes in cinema history. It's 2 people talking. And it is about, 20 minutes long?
It's just so much tension in that
right?
sequence.
Yes, right? And I love those. I love watching actors just fucking kill it, right?
Yeah.
And so, and you were saying something to me like, don't you, like that? And Charlie Cox is great as, maybe off the air, and D'Onofrio. And I realized, I'm like, I do like that shit. So why the fuck do I care? And most of it, again, was just trying not to be so fucking critical of it.
Yeah.
Of something that these are things I want to enjoy.
And that's what I was talking about with you off.
Not watch with a critical eye
about sometimes. Yeah, and you said that last week.
I'll listen to my own music with a critical ear because I need to. I need to make sure it doesn't suck.
Right, something creative you want to be.
Some people might think I failed.
So, if you do something creative, you want to be more critical. But yeah,
fuck yes, on April 25th.
Shut up, Jesus! Can't even wait to the end of the fucking show.
No.
What are you, fucking my Disney Plus? Or you got to interject at the wrong fucking time with those goddamn... Can I just say...
No.
If I see another one of those fucking State Farm Bateman ads...
You still see
I'm gonna... Did you keep the mics up?
I turned the headphones down, bro.
All right. I'm like, the mics need to be loud.
I know that. Okay, here.
Anyway.
Yeah, okay. Is that better for you? Yeah. Okay.
Can't say it enough how much I hate the situation my Disney Plus is right now. The shitty ad tier. Don't do it. That's all I have to say.
Don't do it. Well, I have my whole Disney Plus Hulu thing is just fucked because I got the Disney Hulu ESPN Plus bundle, like the $12.99 a month or whatever it was, like 2 years ago, and I never was able to access my ESPN Plus shit. Never have been able to. But I used to be able to log into my Hulu on my TV. Now I don't know what my login is anymore. But since they're connected, all I got to do is go to my Disney Plus account and I can watch all of my Hulu stuff. And interestingly enough, all of my Hulu, lists and stuff and saves are on my Disney Plus account.
Yeah.
So, they're connected.
Synergy.
But I when I do ESPN Plus, for fantasy football every fall, I have to pay for it because I somehow can't access my ESPN Plus account through that original fucking bullshit.
I'm so glad you shared that with us today.
Aren't you glad that I shared that with you? Aren't you mad that I told you so?
You jerk.
I just wrote a song and you don't even care.
Yeah, I don't.
Fuck you, Jake. Okay.
Are you done? So, I'm excited because I know at the very least, in the next 2 episodes, we're going to get Frank and Matt finally teaming up.
Yeah.
Taking on the task force, the hit squad.
Yeah.
Oh, so they also framed it as they killed Muse and Daredevil wasn't there or had anything to do with it.
Well, they want he wants to kill Daredevil on his own.
Yes.
Without anybody knowing about it.
And he doesn't want the public to think Daredevil's back. And his Michael D'Onofrio, Michael Gandolfini's character, he is trying to tell BB Jack, I think. He's telling BB because BB ran reports of people taking pictures of no, I'm pretty sure I saw Daredevil burst through this window. I saw Daredevil go in there, and all this shit. And she put it on her website, and he's like, or up on her channel or whatever. And he's like, hey, you need to take this fucking shit down because Daredevil wasn't there or whatever. And she's like, that's not what they're saying. And he's like, she's like, I'm sorry about what happened and whatever. I didn't.
You owe me.
You owe me because you fucked me over is what he pretty much said. And he's like, take the shit down. And she's like, I'm not. And like that's when he tries to like show power over her and be like, this is what the fucking mayor wants or whatever. And so that's going to play out. So this is where we're going to see, okay, now we're finally going to see her kind of maybe turn more towards Matt's cause and be more on Daredevil's side. So I think I think that whole stuff with him is and BB is going to be another thing that I think is going to carry over into the next season and get resolved.
Is the next season this fall?
I can't remember.
Because I thought they filmed
they are filming this. They are filming season 2 right now.
Oh,
that's what I
thought they.
That's what I heard. Oh, maybe they already filmed it. I don't know.
I thought they decided, hey, we're doing 18 episodes, but we're going to split it up into 2 seasons.
But that was before they did all the fucking. They blew it all up and restarted.
I like to think that Bullseye is involved somehow.
Well, he's clear. There was a mid-season trailer that they dropped right after the 5th and 6th episode.
Didn't watch it because I don't watch.
He's in
shit.
it, so he is in the.
I don't give a
He is in these next few episodes.
Ooh.
So, somewhere.
Ooh.
Also, there is a sequence where he's smiling, and his tooth is missing, and he's holding his tooth. So they're gonna do the fucking tooth thing. I'm like,
fucking
oh
cool.
my god! I was like,
oh, if they do that, did you see that sequence?
When I was a boy.
Did I tell you this? Did I tell you about the sequence? So in Captain America back in the day, it was when Ron Lim was penciling and Mark Gruenwald was writing it, like 88, 89, 90. And Bullseye became kind of a character in Captain America's world because he was, helping these drug dealers and stuff. But he escapes, and they show it in Captain America, and he's in a concrete cell. I don't want to give it away, but maybe I am. Concrete cell, and there's a bed, there's a mattress, but it's recessed and set into the concrete, so he can't take the sheets off.
He can't ricochet shit.
He can't do anything.
Yeah. He can't throw shit around.
He's naked, basically. So they do whatever, and he goes and just smashes his face on the wall, and they go in to see what's wrong. And what he does is he spits his tooth out that he broke on the wall, smashing his face in, and kills one of the guards. And then it goes from there. I don't want to give away.
I think they're going to fucking do it.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Oh, my God.
Listen, I'm not trying to advocate for any guards getting hurt in real life.
No.
But in fiction, it's fucking cool, man.
Because he's like this. He's like, and his tooth is like missing, and he's holding it in his mouth. So I know he's going to use it as a projectile. I'm like, oh, my God. See, that's what I mean. I'll forgive shit like that because it's a comic book.
Yeah.
Like you said last week, we have to view these things as what they are. They are are adapting comic books.
Wasn't I just saying something and then I was like, well, hang on a second. It's not and you're like, shut the fuck up.
If anybody's ever painted with fucking period blood.
Wow.
What?
Okay. Period
People
blood.
did do that once.
I'm sure. More power to them.
There was like a protest and stuff.
I don't need to, but cool. Wow.
Anyway,
you put a Cheez-It in your mouth, and it came right back out. So yeah, Daredevil, thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up my butt.
Wow.
I'll give it 2 horns.
I'll give it 2 horns up my butt.
Wow. I feel like that's a negative review because that would not be pleasurable. I guess maybe thumbs might.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, we should probably get off.
A horn is pointy, Tyler.
A thumb is rounded.
As a nose.
And as long as that person is clipping their fingernails and keep,
I mean, it's 50.
regular.
It's 50-50 if you come.
Regular manicures.
I don't know if that would happen.
Regular manicures, you're good to go. Wow. We just did a whole sequence on things up your butt. So, Spider-Man Brand New Day was announced. Speaking of things up your butt. How? How does that relate to Spider-Man whatsoever? Well, hang on. Let me get there.
Stay with me now.
Stay with me now. No, Spider-Man Brand New Day was announced.
July 31st, 2026.
It's supposed to be by Sony, interestingly enough, not Marvel, by Sony.
Yeah, but it's directed by...
Of course. Holland's in it. It's MCU related.
It's Destin Daniel
Cretton. Yep.
Who did Shang-Chi.
There's thoughts that Mr. Negative is going to be the villain, which I think would be cool. And there's already...
What rumor was that again? What makes people say that? Because it was Brand New Day was a run.
Segment of comics or something. Yeah. Well, no, it's when fucking.
It was Slott. It was Dan Slott.
It was Dan.
Slott.
Keep that in mind, because he's the asshole who was like, you know, what would really shake up Spider-Man is if we made him sell his marriage to Mephisto. Shut up, Dan.
Was that him or was that JMS?
That was fucking...
I thought that was Jed.
I don't know.
Straczynski.
But Brand New Day spins out of that.
Yeah.
Because One More Day is that.
Right.
I don't know who wrote that.
Was it? No, I think Joe Quesada was he was still editor, but he was actually drawing that one.
Quesada's art is way underrated.
He's actually, really good artist.
He started off as, that's how I remember
editor?
him.
I don't really know.
That's how, I remember he drew a couple of books in the 80s, and it's just stellar fucking work. It's insane, the stuff that he does. Anyway. We were talking about buttholes.
Well, so this got announced July 31st, 2026, Brand New Day, and there's that rumor. I saw a rumor that they were going to do Venom for Tom Holland, but it was not going to have anything to do with Sony's Venom, and it'd be its own thing inside
There's
the
reports
MCU.
that it's being rewritten right now, that the original script was not up to snuff. And I've already read...
I feel like they say that about every fucking Marvel movie.
Of course I've already read a negative review that they're like, how are they supposed to tentpole between Doomsday and Secret Wars? And I'm not sure why this guy's Norwegian. How are they supposed to tentpole between... Hurdy-gurdy. Swedish, whatever. I'm Scandinavian, I can say that.
Wow.
Just in case you're offended. Hey.
That's like me saying
Swedish people
cracker.
and Norwegian.
Hey, I'm white. I can say that.
Norwegian people are not the same. Like, yeah, they fucking are.
Okay.
Well, I can never go to Scandinavia now because you do know that historically Norwegians and Swedes hate each other. So I just said they were the same. I'm dead. I'd never go back to my homeland. I was born in Norway many, many moons ago. Anyway, so Spider-Man Brand New Day. There's a thought that it's going to be some days during the episode I'll just do a bunch of shit and make Jake just put his
what am I supposed to do with that? What am I supposed to do with that?
Hurdy-gurdy. So
remember sausage water? Anyway.
Sausage water. Two-tone. No, Two-Tone Tyler with a new for the song.
Fuck off! We're not doing that. No! Stop it!
There's actually a band called
Spider-Man!
Okay.
I'm flipping you out of there.
Where's the fucking thing? Where's the fucking thing? Where is the fucking thing? We're talking about the, we're talking, it was just fun to talk in that voice. We're talking about the sounding board. Where's the soundboard?
Fuck off. I don't have it.
So what do you I mean,
don't care.
Are you worried about the...
I don't care.
What? Come on. Are you worried?
I dried up,
Come
man.
on.
I'm not wet anymore.
Wow.
Let's move on.
Wow.
Something tells me the popularity of Marvel Rivals maybe would play in the fact... Because Venom is a very popular character with Marvel. If we're going to go by...
Of course. I don't know why exactly.
I love Venom and I don't get it either.
know you do.
Hey, I'm a fucking captain as Venom in Marvel Rivals. I'm a Centurion with Thor. I'm not a lord yet.
I don't know what that
That's
means.
the highest. That's the highest rank you can get.
Any
scrub.
of that means.
Anyway,
yeah, I'm a noob. I would be a noob.
So I mean,
is that still a term?
Shut up.
People, shut up, Tyler.
My theory is.
Shut up.
I'm sorry. So you have Fantastic Four coming out, and we've been reading current Marvel books. They are fucking pumping the shit out of Fantastic Four and publishing. And
well, they have the whole One World
and the
Under
Fantastic
Doom
Four,
thing.
and the Fantastic Four were a big deal with Marvel Rivals, getting those characters in and doing all that stuff. So There's even sections in Disney Plus that says like Marvel Rivals characters, and it has like Moon Knight and Venom and like everything.
See, I haven't just explored like Star Wars or Marvel and Disney Plus in a long time. That used to be fun. Back when they had like a couple things. Now that they have so many things, it's just like it's not fun anymore. It's
the week after Daredevil's done, it goes right into Andor.
On Tuesdays now?
Yeah. I got to record on a Wednesday or a Thursday.
No, actually, in a couple weeks, I won't have any more night gigs.
I don't know. I kind of like Thursdays. It's weird.
I have book clubs on Thursdays.
Oh, this is a fucking book club. This book or this podcast. How dare you have a life outside of this show?
I like meeting new people because I'm kind of a loner.
Well, maybe we'll meet some people if we do Des Moines Con this year. We might do that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that later. So then we also got other news.
No, let's talk about it on the air.
We got other Spider-Man news. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse was announced. So I think it was CinemaCon that was going on.
Isn't it?
Are
we still waiting for part 2?
Yeah, this is what this is.
Okay.
And it's going to come out. They said June 4th, 2027. So that's the episode. There's a lot of animation with this shit.
I get that, but I kind okay. So hold on to what you're about to say, okay? I just don't want you to forget.
Gandalf?
I just don't want you to forget what you're talking about because I got
like
a little bit of a
shooting a spell.
When I was younger, it was announced that part 2 and part 3 of Back to the Future, like 9 years after the first one, was going to be made. And the whole big deal about it was, they were doing that technology that allowed Michael J. Fox to play 3 characters in one scene. Okay, that was a big deal at the time. And then the other big deal was that they shot them pretty much back to back. Like it was like an 8-month shoot, and they did both movies at the same time.
It was the same thing with The Matrix. I was like
the
4 or 5 years after that first movie.
The second 2 movies were
back
both
to back.
Yeah. There's a lot of that, and I think now what were you talking
Avengers,
about?
back to back.
We're talking about back to what you were saying.
Yeah, we were. Well, we were talking about Spider-Verse, and we were talking about the fact that and I appreciate that.
I do too, but I always think that they were making them because I remember we went into it, and when it ended, I was like, "What the fuck?" And you were like, "You knew it was a 2-parter." I just assumed that they've. Yeah, I'm fine giving them plenty of time.
Well, I think a lot of people forgot that they.
Damn it!
They
I really want
the
fucking second part of it.
But I will say to that though, I appreciate that by the time that this comes out,
but they're giving time.
It'll be almost 9 years since that first movie, and to be like
3 movies in 9 years, that averages out to be 1 movie every 3 years.
But no, that's perfect.
That's science.
Because you stop. Because in 3 years, it's an eternity in today's world.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! In 3 years, we might not be here. Truthfully. I mean, have you watched the news lately?
So no,
Jesus
but
Christ.
that is something that we've talked about, and I think that is something that we need to applaud. And I know that as like fans of this and being excited about this, we're a little frustrated, but at the same time, we're like, yes, of course, we want them to have time to do this shit and make it good, and let them to be able to tell the best story they can. But it's nice to have it where it's something you miss, where it's something like you remember going to the theater and seeing. Across the Spider-Verse the first time and being like, oh my gosh, I miss these characters. I miss being in this world. And so like, it's the same thing with like the Dark Knight trilogy. I think part of the reason people love that is because it's 3 to 4 years between each movie. You know what I mean? Make them miss you. You know? Which is another reason why I think
I was just thinking about that the other day.
Yeah,
like when we were first watching like the first the Avengers or the first Iron Man, the Avengers Initiative, and then the first Thor, or rather the second Iron Man where they had the Thor hammer, and then Thor, and so on and so forth, right?
And Captain America,
right?
Avengers,
and how now they've run into this thing where to keep mainstream casual moviegoers invested, they feel like they have to kind of announce some sort of, like it's a big deal. This is a big deal.
Well,
this is a big
they're
deal.
publicly traded, so they have to announce this stuff.
Right, but the problem is that they feel like they have to top themselves, and it's like, look.
Well, that's why we made a joke about it, about Doomsday's cast. It's gigantic.
Can we just accept that you're never going to top Endgame?
You're never gonna beat it. I think Doomsday.
You're never gonna tap Infinity War. Okay, Infinity War was.
Some
fucking
people
dope
would
as
argue
fuck.
that Infinity War is better, and
I don't.
I like the ending for Endgame personally, but I like the happy ending. I'm a sucker for that shit.
I like Endgame because it resolves it all.
Yeah.
Infinity War is great. It starts out real fucking dark.
And that's what I mean.
We're gonna kill Loki right off
I'm
the
not,
bat.
and I'm not doubting that Doomsday and Secret Wars aren't going to be great. I just think that they're still not going to top Infinity War and Endgame.
And Peter Dinklage as what's his name, the troll.
Dude,
classic.
when Thor fucking arrives in Wakanda,
Only
that
it means if I'm dead. That's what killing you means.
When he fucking arrives in Wakanda, that shit's insane. I still get fucking goosebumps watching that. And then, Endgame and they've on your left. But like, that's the thing. Now we're bringing in legacy X-Men characters. We talked about that last week and what they're doing with that.
Yeah, interesting.
It's gonna be crazy what they're gonna do with that. But
that's so we know Patrick Stewart, Alan Cumming, and Magneto.
Alan Cumming, Magneto, Ian McKellen.
We know that those three are scheduled.
Kelsey Grammer, yeah.
Kelsey Grammer. Okay,
and
so
Channing
4.
Tatum.
Yeah.
As Gambit. They're really going to do a serious thing with him? Because you can't really, I mean, like, fuck. The Deadpool Wolverine one, I'm like, how do you make a serious character out of that?
Look,
I shot on my dad's dick ready.
I've watched it again. I'm sure we all have.
I have. I still enjoy it.
And I got to be honest, the second watching, the first time you see it in the theater, I mean, Channing Tatum comes off as jokey and as a joke, as Gambit. It's like, oh, hey, this is a neat little treat.
You actually give him real stuff to do in that, yeah.
Yeah, but when you watch it a second time, you're like, okay, wait a second. He's actually, Deadpool's making fun of him, but Channing Tatum is playing him straight.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, no, I'm Gambit, man. I'm Gambit, man. Like, he's doing it.
He's also playing into the fucking thing.
Well, he grew up in that area, so it's not like he doesn't know how to do the Creole accent.
Okay, shot out of my daddy's dick ready.
Maybe that's something they say down there.
Could you imagine?
I can.
Some of the shit he says in that movie, oh my god.
Oh, and I'm sure, you know what I mean? Like, some of it, was jokey. It's not all serious, but no, Tanning.
He's a good actor. He could do it.
Channing played it straight, man. He did his whole shtick, and he wasn't like, I'm going to make this a joke. He was like, I want to. More than likely, Ryan Reynolds was like, dude, I feel you wanting to do this Gambit thing. Look at what I did with Deadpool and how much I want to, I feel
Do you also think that the thing was...
So let me give you a chance.
Yeah.
Do I also think what?
You also think there's going to be something with Wesley Snipes and Blade because of that?
I don't think so. I think the Mahershala...
They should just fucking leave Blade alone.
I think the Mahershala Ali project is dead.
That's completely dead. They ain't coming back.
Is it officially dead? Or
they have no future plans.
Is it still in development?
No future plans.
Okay.
So that's as good as dead.
It sucks.
It does. But I don't think you're ever good. Same thing. We're getting off.
Yeah.
We're
getting off topic.
Same thing.
We're getting off pedal. We're going downtown to get some food and snacks and stuff. We're going
not me. I'm married. How many times do I have to keep telling?
I said food and snacks. What did you think?
I thought you said sex. Food and sex?
I wouldn't try and get sex downtown. Are you nuts? No.
Oh, my apologies. Well, no, if you want to get snacks, I'm into that.
Snacks are cool.
Yeah, let's do that.
Now, don't get me wrong. If I was downtown getting snacks and somebody was like, hey, you want some sex? I'd be like, depends on how I feel.
Hey, I like cheddar popcorn too. Let's fuck.
I like cheddar popcorn too. Let's fuck.
All right, stop it. You want to talk about some comic books?
No.
Fuck me.
Well, no, we have to do one thing very seriously. Yes.
Right.
I woke up the other morning and I wake up really early, and for a lot of days I try to scroll on my timeline, on my For You timeline on my Twitter. I try to scroll as far as I can to see, the three little headlines that it gives me, which is bullshit because it's all grokked out and shit. But one of them was, and this is 4:30 in the morning, and it happened early Tuesday morning, I believe. But Val Kilmer passed, and we have talked about some of our favorite movies, like Heat is one of my favorite movies. Tombstone's one of my favorite movies. A lot of people forget this, and he went uncredited, but he was Elvis in True Romance. The guy who, the spirit of Elvis who tells Clarence what to do.
I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
Oh, my God, you got to see it. You got to see it in the 9,782 endings.
Oh, boy.
So this is funny because, real quick, I promise. The first ending of the movie, test audiences didn't like, but Tony Scott was like insistent. Okay, no, I have to. And so the studio was like, no, you got to change it. So they changed it. Then he came out with a director's cut, which has his ending. Then he decided to come out, which I actually have this, and it's the super duper uncut director's cut. I don't even know. It's like the fourth or fifth version of it, but it's got the original full ending, but then it's also as a special feature you can watch the original ending that they wanted to do, and I won't give anything away because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Great movie, actually. Great fucking movie. Great fucking show. They say that a lot in that movie. That's a great fucking movie.
I want to give a couple shout outs to his comedic performances. I think Val Kilmer.
Top Secret.
Val Kilmer.
Real genius.
I was getting that. So Val. You fuck.
I stopped talking. Now you can go.
No, the moment's killed.
Oh, is it?
You ruin it. No. So yeah. No, and there's plenty of. I mean, he was a very great actor. Had so much range. But his comedic roles, my God, man, he is so ridiculously fucking funny in MacGruber. Oh my God, him as Kumpf.
Yeah.
Huh.
Dude,
So
Kiss
good.
Bang Bang.
Kiss Bang Bang. Him and RDJ have so much fucking chemistry in that movie.
Oh my God, yes.
He's honestly, Val Kilmer wasn't the problem with Batman Forever.
Nope.
Him and Jim Carrey got the assignment. I think I've talked about the fucking Schumacher movies today, so I'm not gonna do that here. But my point is, I still really enjoyed him as Batman, and I think that he did a really good job with what he had.
Yeah, he did what he could with what he had.
Yeah. He's, of course. I mean, Tombstone's great, but yeah, I want to give a particular shout, like, to show his range as an actor, like his comedic shit, like Top Secret. He's so good in, and yeah, Real Genius. Okay, Batman was like my first thing to him, but like I think honestly, probably my favorite role of his is his role in Real Genius. I just love that movie.
My first,
and I think it's because of my dad. Like we watched that movie way too much back in the day. I don't know why.
Big role was Top Secret, and I mean that was the first movie, but it didn't really resonate with me at the time.
The underwater fight in that movie. Oh my God.
But my first big exposure to him was Top Gun.
Oh yeah, of course, Top Gun.
He's in that, but Tombs, yeah.
When he does that,
you're dangerous. You can be my wingman anytime. Bullshit. You can be mine. He was in Prince of Egypt. He played Moses and God.
Oh yeah, I forgot he did voices in that.
He obviously lost his voice, which was kind of a tragedy because you see his picture and you forget how deep his natural voice is very deep.
Yeah.
Because it
was very smooth. Jim Morrison. Fuck, the Doors.
He's fucking beautiful. And to be really honest, when you see a picture of Val Kilmer, because he's so beautiful, you almost expect him to be like, "Hey guys, what's up?" But he's, you know what I mean? Just because he's so fucking beautiful.
There was a documentary that came out about him that was just like old footage that archival footage he kept.
Heat.
I think it was just called Val, maybe.
No, I just wanted to bring that one up.
No, I know, but I want to go back and watch that because that was really sweet to think that like he didn't have to get that footage and release that before he passed to be like, this has kind of just been my story. And it's like, so it's been a long time coming. I think he knew a while ago that this was where it's going, especially when he lost his voice. And sadly, this is probably what's going to happen with Bruce Willis at some point.
Well, no, the problem is that he died from pneumonia. So that's why.
I thought it was.
That's why it was so.
I thought it was the.
He had beat that.
Oh.
He lost his voice permanently.
Oh, okay.
But he died. That's why it was so unexpected.
Right. Oh.
But
shoot.
I
thought that came back.
The big shootout scene in Heat, where he reloads.
Oh, yeah.
That is actually, I read up on this. That's actually taught in military training schools, like U.S. military, how to quickly reload your magazine, how to quickly change your magazine. This is, if you can't do it as fast as this actor can, maybe the Army isn't for you. And like, that's no shame on him. They're just saying like, hey, this guy
can do it, you can do it.
This guy did it.
He was trained to do it. You can be trained to do it.
Yeah, this guy did it so well, and researched his deal so well, and what a real guy would do so well, that we're willing to teach you, hey, off of a fucking movie.
And I think that's like you were saying that hit harder for you than you thought it would.
I
think
was listening. The last thing I should have done was listening to the top, like, the whole guitar, and I'm just like, oh fuck, man, you know what I mean, right? Like, it's just a sweeping, and then the guitar, it builds to the end to this just ridiculous guitar, and I'm just like, yeah, man, you're flying with the angels, man. Like
shit. Now I just,
you know what I mean? I'm sorry.
Now I just made myself sad. Well, no, I just came to the realization that like, 2 of the Batman that I grew up with have died. 3. But I didn't really grow up with Adam West. But Kevin Conroy and Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
Like, I made myself sad. But no, that's No, that's what I'm saying. Is like, I think that, and we've talked about I think we've kind of talked about it before on the show, is it hit you a little bit harder than you did, because that's like I think as you get older you start to realize that's the beauty of art, is that he may be gone, but the stories that he got to be a part of and the stories that he got to tell are still there and still exist. And like, it is weird because you do kind of sort of build like a little bit of a parasocial relationship with these characters and these actors through these movies and things, and maybe even more now with podcasts and things like that. But like,
Willow, just reminding everybody about that one. It wasn't one of my favorites, but just want to continue.
Jesus, you were like a mother on fucking Christmas morning trying to contain herself about a present. You're like, I gotta say Willow before I forget. He did that movie.
We haven't mentioned it, and that's one of his big roles.
True.
I didn't watch it a lot. My brother loves it because now it's a George Lucas thing. And Star Wars people were just like, "What? George Lucas did something else."
What was the one with Brando? Wasn't it with the lion that he was in? Isle of Dr. Monroe or Dr. Moreau?
Yeah, he did that one, but he was in Ghost in the Darkness with Michael Douglas.
Oh, yes.
That movie's fucking awesome, dude.
I've never seen it, but don't they fight a lion?
So it's a true story, and these guys come in and like these lions, they're not like lions or whatever, like is what they're told. And this one guy who's Val Kilmer's character is there first, and I believe he's there to try and build a railroad, and it's just going horribly. And then on top of all that, this lion starts eating his workers.
Yeah.
So they hire this guy, Michael Douglas, the fucking stud. And he just shows up, and he's just like, the guy from Romancing the Stone, that character of his. Yeah. He's like, hey, what's up? I got long hair, and I eat scorpions for breakfast, and I drink tequila.
I'll fucking shoot that lion.
I'm gonna shoot that behind my back. You know what I mean? Like, it's Michael Douglas, right? And but it's his character, and I watched like the first half of it, and then I fell asleep. But the reason why I fell asleep is A, I was tired, and B, there are long. It's a good movie because I did finish it, but I just did not watch it at the right time because there are stretches where it's like they're waiting for the
did I ever tell
lion
you
in the trap or whatever, and it was like, and I just.
I'll absolve you.
Don't make me mad.
No, I'll absolve you because
don't make me feel bad.
No, I fell asleep at parts watching Blade Runner 2049 in the theater because I was working this similar schedule to what you're working now, and I didn't get a nap. So I was and that movie has long, drawn out sequences that are like,
Which one?
Blade Runner 2049.
Oh yeah,
great movie. I've watched it since. It's great. I've watched, but I enjoyed it then. I still managed
I don't want to say
piece the story together.
Go see Ghost in the Darkness because you just told me you fell asleep. But no, you gotta.
No, but yeah, but I would say I enjoyed him as Batman. I enjoyed him. Of course, he's great as fucking Doc Holliday and Tombstone, just unbelievable. But honestly, again, I gotta go back to Kunth. His Kunth performance is so good, and that's like one of his last ones. And like, because you know what happened is I had a whole bunch of really badass guys, and then I fucking blew them all up. He goes, "No way, you fucking did that." No, I didn't do that because I'm not a fucking yeah. It was just so good because he just constantly.
He's great.
Yeah. Upper Decker. Okay. I need to watch. Was that Peacock show worth any shit? I might have to watch it.
Listen, man, if you haven't seen MacGruber, you gotta be prepared for uncomfortable moments. You do.
MacGruber is one of the most insane movies I've ever seen.
Will Forte, this is why I'm excited in the last piece of movie news for this next piece of news. That's why I'm excited about it, because Will Forte's movie Acme vs. Coyote is been saved by Ketchup Entertainment for reported $50 million. Now, but Will Forte comedy, you kind of have to buy into it a little bit. You have to understand, like, whenever you see Sudeikis, Jason Sudeikis or Kristen Wiig or one of those other Saturday Night Live luminaries doing stuff with him, you know it's because they just love working with him because he's nuts. But he's also brilliant. Like, if you watch Last Man on Earth, like I swear
I never watched it all the way through. I only watched a couple.
I watched the first couple seasons, but here's what I liked about it is every time I can watch TV shows or CBS dramas, right? And almost can tell from the first 10 minutes what's going to happen in this episode, right? Because a lot of it's formulaic, a lot of it's fucking churned out cookie cutter, right?
Well, TV, like the whole trope with the TV writing was your characters are never meant to grow. They're just meant to...
Sure.
Yeah.
But Last Man on Earth, every time I thought, this is where I'm going to go, this is where that's going to go, this is where it has to go, it wouldn't. And I want to say that he sat down and every time he was like, my first instinct is never the one I'm going to follow. It's always going to be the second or third thing that I think of because that's what's going to make this show compelling. And it's great. It's brilliant. You got to read comics? But yeah, I'm excited. It's next year, I believe they're slated. They're preparing it for a widescreen movie release or wide release, whatever, worldwide release next year. So that's awesome because I remember us talking about it. I'm excited about that.
All right. Well, we're going to have a discussion about, because we got a couple books and to read and talk about here in 2 weeks. No. Tyler.
Jake.
Wow. You have absolute...
It's the sound of music. I've paid a off topic edition.
In your hands.
Nothing to do.
You have Absolute Superman number 6.
Right. And so... We've been doing the Absolute books, and next week... Absolutely. Next week, last week we did Absolute Martian Manhunter 1. Wait, you know what? I hate that I have to say Absolute before each one of these books.
I know, because Absolute Superman, Green Lantern, Absolute Green Lantern.
Anyway,
it's better when it's one name. Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman is...
I just don't want to have to say Absolute in
Absolute.
front of me. I'm absolutely sick of it. Absolute Green Lantern next week. Fuck! Fuck!
I quit. I quit the
God
podcast.
Damn it. Comic books.
I can't do it.
Can't just say new Superman or something. No, let's make it 4 fucking syllables. Absolute. Fuck you. That's like 7.
Math is hard.
Anyway, so you're not a linguist, are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah. Let's not go there. So we did the first three, the trilogy, the Superman, the Wonder Woman, the Batman. And Batman gave us 6 issues to finish out their arc because they gave us a filler issue.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, hats off, did their first 5. They're on their way through their second arc, which is a 2-issue arc, I think it's called. I like it when you tell me, hey, this is part 1 of 7. Cool. So if I want to read these 7 issues and then drop this book forever, awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Thank you. Absolute Superman took 5 issues to get through its first arc. It had a great ending. He gets done fighting and he goes to Smallville.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. Hey, cool. And
we're going to finally see this version of Martha and Pa Kent.
Right. And I'll tell you this.
And Jonathan Kent.
I loved this book. I loved this issue. And I am absolutely done with Absolute Superman. I don't need to read it anymore. I'm going to dig it off my pull list.
So because you feel like you got what you wanted out of it?
I got what I wanted out of it, but also we'll get to the end, and we'll talk about the end.
Okay.
Because the end really
so my thoughts
determined that for me. But yeah, your thoughts.
My thoughts on it, I did enjoy it a lot. I think that this was... Of those 3, I think this is the one that kind of took a little bit for me to, like, that first issue, I was like, okay, wasn't really vibing with it. And then, yeah, ever since I was kind of on board with it. I really liked it. I would definitely be interested in reading a number 7. I would be interested. Now, I'm also someone that, I'm very vocal on the show about how I read comics. I have no issue waiting for issues. And I like to read comics with the trades, so I have no problem waiting for this arc to finish and then it being collected and reading it later, because I do like what he's doing with this character. I do like his Superman a lot, and like I thought we kept kind of wondering, like, okay, what's going to make this different than other Superman stories, and like how he is able. And you could say that about all 3 of those books, but really how he was able to really play with the mythos and find ways to make it interesting and exciting and still staying true to what Superman is. And that's all you ever ask for with these Absolute books. And I think all of them have the ones that, all the ones that we've read so far. I haven't read Green Lantern yet, but all the ones that I've read at least have succeeded on that level, I think.
Again, to me, Martian Manhunter feels like it's the same as it is, whatever. But it's still a great book.
Did I tell you on Blue Sky, Diniz, he announced they're doing 12 issues of that.
Nice.
Like, him and the artist are fully doing 12 issues. So I'm like, fuck yeah. That's cool.
And for the record, Absolute Batman did not commit a cardinal sin by giving us a filler issue, but they did. So it took 6 issues to do the 5. It's fine. It didn't.
And I liked that this issue is a little epilogue to that, where it's not necessarily... I feel like you could kind of plug... This is kind of like a bottle episode.
I would have liked 4 in this place in Batman. Absolute Batman. You know what I'm saying?
After we finished...
4 was the filler issue. Yeah. That should have been number 6.
Right. And to have that to be kind of the bridge and just be like, okay, we're going to use this bottleneck to get to the next arc.
And the way that Batman and Superman, for that matter, and Wonder Woman both played with time frames to be like, okay, right now we're talking about this, but now we're talking about back then, and things. We're revealing little by little the past. I hated that they gave us just 1 issue. That's why I like this issue better than Absolute Batman number 4, even though they're essentially the same issue, the same story. It's an epilogue of sorts. It's a deep dive into the stuff that isn't so much action, although there is action here, but it's more about character building than anything. Don't you think that? I think if they had put 4 in place...
Yeah, and I think like
still a great book.
I can forgive this because it is kind of it in the way that it says in the title card. It is an epilogue where there was a resolution of like, okay, he's going back to Smallville, but this is also a little bit before. And even I would say it's less of a filler, and it is definitely where it's going to be because obviously issue 7 he is going to be in Smallville. So we are dealing with this part of the story. So it makes sense to have it in this place, and that's why I think it's a great place for it as number 6.
Yes. Now that we've gone through all that.
As that little bridge. And I think overall it was a very interesting take to show an older Jonathan and an older Martha that are without kids, and an older Clark, or as you know, Kal-El.
Well, it looks like and
6 years ago, to see them have a language barrier. That's what's so cool.
He's been almost 2 years. He's just floating in space, nothing, and he's about to give up. He's like, Saul, I just want you to let me out. And
he tries to just launch himself
he's like,
into a star.
I can't do that. And then the yellow sun starts reacting with his physiology.
He charges into it trying to kill himself, basically. And yeah, it supercharges him because it's Superman.
So life-sustaining world detected. He's above Earth, clearly. And then they show Martha and Jonathan in the field. And they're talking about how, there's, drones over our field every morning. And he's like, that's, they're just talking about how much it sucks to be farmers under Lazarus. And that's when he comes down into like a meteor, and Saul is basically absorbed into him. And Martha's like, "Hey, let's take him." And John's like, "No." And they show a couple of weeks of them trying to figure him out, and he's like,
it's almost like he's possessed,
lasering. He's levitating. He's lasering the bed and stuff, and he starts talking about how he's home. He feels like he's home for the first time.
Yeah.
And he sees these just verdant fields, and they show him helping out, and he's still without Saul, but he's strong and stuff, so he's helping him out. He can't talk to him. And then Saul reawakens, and he helps him learn English. And he's like, "Hey, I'm Kal-El. I fixed your tractor, and my favorite part is like, "Hey, I detected some manner of remote drones operating in the skies above, and I took the liberty of disabling them." And not only does he learn to speak, and he's like, "Hello," and introduces himself, but also it starts raining.
Well, that's what I wanted to say. I thought it was really cool.
The drones were real.
Yeah, the drones were real, and they were controlling the weather. And but I thought before that was a fun thing to do that's unique to the Superman story. Of he didn't land as a child, so he didn't naturally learn the language.
Yeah.
So he has to learn English, and he has to figure out how to do that because he's speaking his native tongue of Kryptonese, which is funny to even put it.
Kryptonese.
Could you say speaking Kryptonian? Kryptonese.
So then somebody rats him out, basically what a lot of Americans are doing these days, because we're all fucking awful.
Question for you. Do you think that they made a fake Kryptonese alphabet for this? And so
I don't know.
It actually is something.
Who's writing it?
Jason Aaron.
Did he do the X-Men stuff? The recent, the Krakoa stuff?
Hickman did the Hawk.
Hickman did.
And then it was Dugan, I think, Gary Dugan.
No, who did all the Krakoa stuff? That was Hickman, right? That was his one.
Yeah, Jonathan Hickman.
Now, they made an actual alphabet for all that shit, and that was crazy. I don't know if they did or not, but somebody rats him out, so all the Peacemakers show up, and they take him, and he's trying to save it, and Saul's just like, "Look, dude, we got to go." And they tell him,
I have to protect you. I can't let them take you.
They tell him, they're like, "Just get out of here, because you have to. You need to leave and help.
For our sake, leave."
Yeah. So he just leaves, but nowhere stayed safe, not for long, and no place felt so much like home as the home that might have been.
Oof.
And then they show Smallville, and it's obviously deteriorating, and Lois is at the senior living looking for Martha Kent. And we've seen her before in this series, and she's in a home.
Yeah. Oh, and I'll
let you take this part.
Oh. So, yeah, I do love that Lois is still thinking. So, the big reveal at the end
You got
of
to
this.
start with the page where they're talking to Brainiac, man. Come on. You can't just jump to that. Jesus, I gave it to you on the
They're talking to Brainiac.
Christ, man.
He's talking or whatever.
These people don't read the comic books. They rely on us to tell them what happens.
Sure. So, anyway, they're having a conversation, and he essentially... So, what they're saying is, while he's having this conversation, you kind of see a pod in the background with the people that were in Lazarus, and they're talking with Brainiac. So this whole time, there's this Lazarus thing in the back of my mind. I kept thinking, I'm like, Lazarus, is he gonna? He's not gonna, because that's not. Because then I started thinking Lazarus Pit. He's not gonna do that. Oh, and here we go. So we get to the end of this.
What's the Lazarus Pit?
Lazarus Pit. Jesus fucking Christ! If you're listening to this and you don't know what the Lazarus Pit is, get out.
What is it?
You don't know what the Lazarus Pit is?
Can you explain
it's
it to me?
It's what Ra's al Ghul uses to resurrect
Ra's
himself.
al
No, because I've heard both. And you know who calls him Ra's? Kevin Conroy. And he's my Batman.
Well, all right.
Anyway, I don't care. Ra's, who cares? Point is, Lazarus this whole
time.
time.
The name sounds familiar, Lazarus Pit, but yeah.
I'm not explaining. I'm sorry. I'm not in the fucking business to explain everything in the DC universe to you, man.
Okay.
God. No, I'm just kidding.
Jesus.
So Lazarus Pit usually, DC lore, is that the Lazarus Pit is what Ra's uses to resurrect himself.
Well, Ra's al Ghul.
No, motherfucker. I have heard both. Jeez.
The guy.
Stop saying it like you know. You don't even read Batman.
The guy. Actually,
name one Batman.
one of the first Batman issues that I remember reading was Mike W. Barr was the artist. It was Denny O'Neil was the writer, and it was a Ra's al Ghul story. I don't care if you call him that. I'm going to call him what I call him. The guy is typically a Batman villain.
Why would it be Ra's?
Because it's Ra's, R-A-S, and there's a sun god Ra, and I mean...
There's an accent there.
Yeah, so that's an apostrophe, not a fucking...
Ra's.
It's not above the A. It's next to the A.
DC
it's an apostrophe. It's not a fucking accent.
DC could have corrected that
don't care
forever,
that much.
and they never did. Regardless, the big reveal is that in the pod that's run by Lazarus, because guess what? Lazarus Pit. The big reveal.
For those of you who've never read the Bible, Lazarus was resurrected by Jesus.
So once the Superman kneels at the feet of our Holy Father.
Of his Holy Father.
His Holy Father, Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul.
So,
I prefer Ra's.
My issue,
not just being a dick.
My issue with this issue is I like it. I like the issue more than anything. I think the reveal is like, oh, that's interesting. It's an interesting
So we're going to use a traditional Batman villain to go up against Superman. And as a Batman fan, I was like, because
he's traditionally Batman, right?
I'm being coy. The whole Lazarus thing, it didn't cross my mind to be Lazarus Pit. It just kind of like when it was
being a dick.
When it was revealed, I was just like, oh, I guess that makes sense.
I didn't guess Ra's al Ghul at all. I didn't guess him at all.
With the Lazarus Pit. No, I didn't guess that. That reveal was
it's a Batman villain.
No, the reveal
to be honest.
The reveal was a twist, but when I look back on it, I was like when it happened, I went, really?
I thought
really?
Luthor would be involved somehow.
No,
right?
But it makes sense because Lazarus Pit. So I was like, oh, okay. Makes sense.
Fucking Lazarus Pit.
I just was a little surprised. I will give it that. It was a twist because I did not expect Ra's to be the main villain, or not the main villain, but to be a villain for this character. So I applaud him for doing something different.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense, and it's kind of perfect because who else could keep fighting Superman but a guy that constantly resurrects himself after he dies?
I guess so. Yeah, sure.
And he gets magical powers when he does it.
I guess. I don't know.
A little bit.
He
gets a little Lazarus shit is what happens at first when he comes back. They don't tell you about that.
But this is why I wanted to wait till the end of the book to give the big twist, and that's why I think I'm done with it, because we are getting into the one thing I want to know after I'm going to probably get the next Absolute Batman arc, the two issue Mr. Freeze thing, and we're in the middle of the one Absolute Wonder Woman arc, the 2 issue, right? Right now, I'm okay with those two because it's stuff could change, but
self-contained.
Yes, thank you.
That's what I said.
But stuff could change. But the reason why I'm done is I'm at this point for the big three. I want to know just one thing: are they in the same universe?
I don't know if they'll ever cross over.
I thought there was a Lazarus reference in Absolute Batman. Is there not?
I don't remember.
I wouldn't mind seeing them team up, but I gotta be honest.
I don't want them to team up.
I gotta be honest. If they do, then it kind of ruins each of their universes, doesn't it? Or each of their kind of things, right? So what
I
are we
don't know if
do?
I want thick boy Batman
are we gonna have
emo Superman? I'm just kidding.
Little kid Superman.
Yeah.
19-year-old. Yeah. No, but I mean, are we going to? So are we gonna just have these? Okay, this is one universe where it's just Superman.
Yeah.
No one else.
Yeah.
That's boring as fuck. Sorry. I think the first thing you do when you reinvent a character is you go, okay, cool, and then you get him around characters that he typically has. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
that's my review. Is I liked the book, but I don't think I need to. And also, it's an epilogue. It's a wrapped up. Boom.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I'm also. I think there comes a point where we have to think. Because of the situation we are in as a country, you have to be economical, and I think a lot of, and it sucks because I think the Absolute books are selling well and they'll be fine, but like this other book we're reading, I'm imagining this. It's probably a mini series anyway, but I can't imagine it being much else than that. And you see things like this that are surprisingly good. Might go by the wayside. Of course, our next book.
Well, look,
this hurts. I don't want to keep talking about it.
It fucking does. But before we get into it, it's got to be said again. We say it every time. But when we first saw that Absolute Batman fucking logo, we were like, this is going to be so stupid, right? Because that's all we thought was they're just redesigning the logos. And then we saw the Wonder Woman and Supermans, and they basically look the same. And we're just like, this is dumb. And of course, it turned out that they're awesome. They're like really good. And this is exactly the problem with Eddie Carnage, Eddie Brock Carnage.
Eddie Carnage Brock.
Eddie Carnage Brock.
Eddie Brock Carnage.
Same
issue
thing
number
with
2.
Wolverine, right? You hate it because the idea behind it is
it's fun.
How can we combine Ghost Rider and Wolverine? Like, you fucking vultures. But then you read the story and you're like, oh, it's not Wolverine and Ghost Rider. It's Dakin, who's been possessed by this entirely other fiery spirit type of thing. And you realize, oh, this is actually a good book. And same with this. It drives me nuts.
So Eddie Brock Carnage, I've been very vocal as a Venom guy.
What do you think of Bushwhacker, dude?
Yeah, I'll get to that. Again, funny story about this real quick. The art is Charles Soule, right?
So.
And Jesus Saiz.
Jesus Saiz. He was on Punisher.
Anyway.
All the time.
Funny thing about this, how this looks like Jason Aaron's Punisher. I've been reading Outcast, which is a Robert Kirkman book, and Paul Azekita is the art. I'm like, God dang! Like, it gave me such flashbacks to that series, like this book does. I'm like, because like I really loved his flashback art, and like his art with that book is so fucking good. I need to get I got it from the library. I would love to keep reading that at some point. But anyway, back to this book. Yeah, so I read this the night before because we were going to do it last week. We cut it short, and sometimes we have to cut a book and just save it for the next week.
We had a long...
Well, like this week's episode, it's a long episode. So
oh, yeah, but we got started late last week.
So I had some time with this. I finally read it the night before this episode. And I'm sitting there in my bed. I'm reading it. And I'm just laying there reading this and Wolverine number 3. Yeah, I don't know if we'll actually review that for the show. And I'm about halfway. Actually, you know what? I'll bring it up in the book because I have it in front of me. There's a sequence. So this issue starts with, because if you remember the first issue, he kills the guy that was the killer on the plane. That was the pilot. Excuse me. When they crash the plane, he makes this giant Carnage safety net thing as he's flying away, and then we don't know what happens. He blacks out, and then we also find out that Carnage is like, I don't want to be with you, you don't want to be with me, here's who I think would be a good host for me, and that's the end. So this one deals with him in Detroit, talking to the cops.
It opens, yeah.
But
sorry.
my point is I just want to get to this point where he talks about pretty much Eddie, and we'll actually go in depth a little bit more. But Eddie is confessing that he's got Carnage with him, like he has a symbiote, and it's a full-page splash, and it says, "I just want to say that to the duty officer, I'm a murderer, and I've got a voice in my head, and it tells me to do things, bad things." And it's a full-page splash, and it's Carnage. But he's
talking to Bushwhacker, yeah.
I'll fucking get there. I just said that.
Yeah, that's a beautiful page.
But that was the page that was like, shit, I like this book. It was all I wanted to say, Tyler. I'm messing with you. So So that gets revealed later. But there's the whole thing is that the book starts the investigation of on the airplane.
Yeah, and they're talking about how weird it is because they can't find the pilots. They can't find any
There's no bodies.
There's no bodies, and yeah, I mean,
and and they found out that the pilot was dead before it crashed.
Right?
Like,
yeah, there's a lot of shit going wrong, and then they start figuring out, oh, hey, wait a second. Well, this guy, the manifest was just created a couple of days ago, and they figure out that it's Eddie Brock because Misty Knight gets involved. But he's in Detroit trying to find somebody. And the deal is between Eddie and Carnage, you got to give me some people to kill. And Eddie's like, okay, but I'm going to find bad people.
Yeah,
so
I'm
the first people he goes after is Bushwhacker. Now, Bushwhacker, during my favorite Daredevil run, which included the Typhoid Mary stuff, and also Bushwhacker, there's an issue. It's I believe it's 4th of July, but there's also an anti-nuke protest going on in New York City at the same time. And that day is the day that Fisk decides to send every one of Daredevil's villains against him. And he gets through the first couple okay, but Bushwhacker really takes a lot out of him. And by the time he fights Typhoid Mary, all she has to do is drop him off a bridge. Like, seriously, like they beat him near death. Okay?
Yeah.
And the next issue after that is just him laying in the parking lot trying to figure out if he's dead or alive. But Bushwhacker was my favorite character because it's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. So, and I had no knowledge of Bushwhacker before this, so this is new to me. And
he's such a fucking cool
No,
character.
and that's what I was...
He's psychopathic, but it's neat.
I was saying, like, it doesn't get revealed later until, like, it's right before we get introduced to Misty Knight. But, like, that reveal was really fun. Like, how he's just like... And, again, this was a part where I was like, fuck me, I like this book. Where he's like, camera's off Detective Brentwood, or is it Detective Burbank, or is it Bushwhacker? And then the next couple panels, he's like, something like that. And that's when he uses it. And then... It's such a weird character of being like, oh, he makes organic weapons from his body. That's gross.
He can turn
weird.
He can turn his hand into a cannon.
Yeah, and this.
That's how.
The fight sequence in this is really cool.
That's how he beats the shit out of Daredevil. Honestly.
Yeah, so like when he shoots at him and like him and Carnage have to like move around it, and like just the art is so good in this.
Yeah.
Man. And then the part where he like lays the torch, which of course because he knows he's a symbiote, so he's like, I'm gonna throw fire at him. And then that whole fight is cool. And then the part where he fucking shoots the spikes out and like kills all the cops, like holy shit.
But what does he say? The
book is bloodier than
what does he say to him?
Oh yeah. He goes, Carnage is in his head, and he's like, the one guy was like, "What happened to you?" And he turns and kills them all, and he goes, "Oh Eddie, look at what you did," and all those cops are dead because Bushwhacker went berserk and like shot all those spikes off on him and killed all of them.
Well, he's trying to tell Eddie like, "Hey, you fucked this up. Man. You could have drawn him out on the street.
Yeah, you made it so he killed all these people just now, and you did it better than I could.
Is that accurate? Maybe not.
No, he knows it's not. But Carnage is trying to fuck with him. He's trying to manipulate him because you have to understand." Carnage hates Eddie just as much as Eddie hates Carnage because he keeps having to fucking fight Venom all these years.
He does explain to Bushwhacker before he reveals himself that, like, hey,
I'm in control.
This is what happened, but he can kill me anytime.
And he hasn't.
No, but he can. So we got kind of a thing where
we
need each other to survive.
Because this is the point of the Carnage symbiote, by the way. They're only bonded because he says in this issue was dying.
Yep.
And Carnage, when he bonded with Cletus, bonded with his blood. So he, of course, bonds with Eddie's blood, and that's why he's like, yeah, he can kill me anytime he wants. And I was like, son of a bitch, the whole time. You have to understand, dude. I said this just like with Absolute Batman eating crow. I said this as a Venom stan. I'm like, fuck this. They're out of ideas. This is a stupid idea. First issue, I'm like, all right, it's not bad. But I'm like, this issue, I was like, son of a bitch. This is good. And I got to say, and I've said this before on the podcast, but I want to be very clear. I am not in any way upset that that's good. Because
no.
You know what? I always want stories to be good. And that's the difference between us and these bad faith fake fans out there. I'm glad that that's good.
Wrong.
Right.
We'd rather be proven wrong.
You know how many times we've been wrong on this fucking show? And you know how excited we were?
At least 4 or 5 times an episode.
And you know how happy we were when we were wrong? That something was good?
I think sometimes we say stuff and immediately realize how wrong it was that we just said.
Yeah.
The words,
all of those Absolute books I thought I never thought I would actually like.
No.
And I enjoyed them all.
Yeah, I am surprised.
Yeah.
At how much I enjoyed them, because I typically don't like DC.
It's the same with that fucking Eddie Brock Carnage book.
I
was sitting there being like, this is what I've said about, like, when you talk about superhero fatigue and you talk about multiverses and how people are tired of that already and everything, and I get that, and I think that's there. But you know what it is? And it's just the same when we were talking about Power Man Limitless and all this shit that Marvel keeps doing, combining characters and like what you mentioned with
and the old man and
But when the story is good, I don't care. And that's what I told you. I was like, it's a really good, interesting story. I actually like where this is going.
Well, we know both characters pretty well. You could be a Venom stan. You are a huge Venom fan. And I rhymed.
Are you a fucking captain as Venom in Marvels?
I'm fucking
Are you?
Captain
no.
fucking Venom, motherfucker. Anyway, no, but we both know enough about both characters, and most Marvel readers, I would say, know enough to know that this is a marriage made in hell, right? You've got Eddie, who is largely turned Venom, made Venom an anti-hero because of his code of conduct, right? Mm-hmm. His code of honor, or whatever you want to call it.
And
he redeemed himself with the ancient Venom stuff and whatnot, right? And then you got Carnage, who's a fucking psychopath, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it when you think about it, you see it and you're like, give me a fucking break, right? But then you start thinking about it, you delve into it, and what Soul is reading or writing in there, it's perfect. You got two ideologies butting heads against each other, and they have to share the same body. Like it's pretty simple, but it's good storytelling.
And it's a funny thing of like, this is what happens when you have the DNA of a serial killer constantly talking to you.
Yes. And we still don't know what happened to all the people on the plane.
Yeah. Makes you think. Did you kill them?
Did you kill them, Carnage? Did you serve them breakfast?
I don't think this could be an ongoing for very long.
Get them some blankets in front of the fire. Did you make them feel at home? Did you tuck them in? Did you make them cocoa with them little marshmallows? Oh, Carnage, where did you go? We're camping and stuff, and you forgot the camping gear. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.